What's up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome back to the channel. Thank y'all so much for tuning in once again. So I am back with another reaction video. Now, I just came across this video. I actually saw this on River TV. Shout out to River TV. I saw this video, so I went to TikTok and I saw the video over there as well, and I decided to react to it. So this woman, she has several videos talking about, men and relationships type stuff. But this particular clip is the one that stood out. And I just want to play what she had to say in speaking on how men will be single and alone just like women. So I want to play this and get your take on it. I want to know your thoughts on what she's saying, if you agree or if you disagree with what she's saying. Make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you'll be notified when I upload new content. You guys hit that notification bell, share and like the video. Let's go ahead and get into what she's saying, and I definitely want y'all to chime in. Here we go.
Men, a lot of y'all gonna end up single and alone at the end of your life too. I know y'all out here saying that it's hard for women to get married. It's hard for some of y'all to get married too. Because the women that God has for you, you overlooking them. You keep shooting your shot at women that don't even want you because you ain't got everything you supposed to have together. I'm gonna say it because y'all don't really understand. Y'all try to say women gonna end up lonely. A lot of you men are gonna die single and alone.
Well, I mean, just to be fair, women outnumber men. So there'll probably be there are more single women than there are single men. To her point, there will be men who end up being single and alone because they can't find suitable wives. And there are women who don't want to be married because they don't see the importance of husbands. They don't see the importance of a man. They don't see the importance of a family. They just want to be able to manipulate and use men for money. And that's part of the reason why men are moving the way they're moving. So while I think what she's saying, that part is true, you got to look at the context and look a little bit deeper. Because what I find when I see women who speak about men, they speak about men a lot more harshly than they do the women. I just think you should be kind of a little bit more on an even playing field to address that. If you're going to address that there are, men who are going to be single and lonely, acknowledge that the women are already single and lonely, child. They're already out here wondering why men are not approaching them, why men are moving in a different direction. So the men will have, in my opinion, more options to go somewhere else versus women. We already see that black women who try to divest, it failed. We already see that the majority of women who try to date outside their race, usually they fail. And it's not as many black women who are able to do that versus black men. But at the same rate, I think it's about 85% of men date within their, black men date black women and marry black women. So the majority of black men are married to black women. There is a slightly higher rate of black men who can go out and divest versus black women. So it shows that women are having a struggle with black men and every other man as well. And the men are married at a higher rate because the women that are married are leaving. And then women ask, why are they leaving? Because these women don't know how to cooperate and deal with men. You don't know how to be in relationships. You were never taught about men. You were never taught what to be for a man. You were only taught that a man's supposed to be everything for you. Once again, like I said, I can agree that yes, there's going to be men and women who are out here and won't ever be able to get a wife or a husband. But I think when women speak on it, they try to make it seem like men need to humble themselves and not actually acknowledge the bigger picture and the state and the mentality of a lot of women and why the state and the mentality of a lot of women is causing them to be by themselves. Why men are moving away. Why men don't want to deal with these modern women. We have to address, if we can address that men are going to die alone and women are too, how do we get to a point and a place where men and women can work together and be together? And the problem is the women, because the women don't want to do that because they don't understand the concept of working with a man. They don't understand the concept of working with a man and building together. They don't want to build a boo. In their minds, that's a build a boo. But a lot of these women are struggling by themselves, but they expect a man to come and change their whole lives. I want these dating coaches and women to start being more realistic and being more honest about your approach. A lot of women are partial to women. A lot of women want to agree with what women are saying and they want to cater strictly to women. I think that it's necessary to point out what the truth is. And once again, two things can be true at the same time. I don't think anybody's perfect. I don't think anybody has it all together. I don't think all men got it together. There are some men who think that the world revolves around them and that they just want things the way they want it. And that's just it, cut and dry. A lot of those men tend to be single too. But at the same time, they're still able to get women. Women are still sleeping with these men. So they're always going to make it seem like it's so much worse for the men than it is the women. But in reality, a lot of these women are struggling and suffering. But they won't admit it because they're the prize and they're the best thing ever. But a lot of them are just not good women. They're just not good. And this is why they can't keep a man and stay in a relationship. Relationships take work on both parts. You just can't expect to go in and get everything that you want, and then when you don't get everything you want, now he was just this. He was a narcissist. He's a problem. That's the problem. But anyway, let's continue.
Because you will not let God work on your heart. You won't level up. The type of women you want, you don't even have the emotional intelligence to deal with them, the relational intelligence. You don't have the integrity. You don't have the leadership, and you shooting for that woman. But y'all won't talk about the ones that you shot for and they let you down. Y'all not ready to talk about the women that told you no thank you because you wasn't on her level. It's a woman that you shot for, sir, and when she denied you and shot you down, now you mad at all the other women and trying to dog them and give them self-esteem issues. Oh, I see y'all out there on the internet streets dogging women. This why y'all don't never get married. Y'all gonna be single forever. Sir, so are you.
Why do you think they're saying that? They're not just on social media just for no good reason, just saying, oh, y'all ain't gonna ever know. There's a reason behind it. Let's talk about the behavior of these said women. If you can only address one side and not address the other, then that's not going to be a solution. It's very disingenuous to point out, oh, the men, y'all gonna be, but why? Why does it have to be that way? So the men, yes, men have been turned down by women that they may have approached or whatever, I'm sure. And women have too. So what? What's the point? So both sides have been turned down by women that they have tried to have a conversation with or tried to date. All right, everybody ain't gonna want everybody, but more, why is that though? And I'm not saying you should try to approach a woman, and not have anything going for yourself or don't know what you're doing. But a lot of these women won't even give these men a chance because they are on this so-called high level. That's all they talk about. This so-called high level. So you being a high level woman, which means what? You got a degree, you got a job, or you got a career. That is all they base their levels upon. I mean, I could sit here and say the same thing. I have a degree. I could give you a whole bunch of things that is considered a high level caliber of woman, but also with that high caliber woman comes an attitude, this entitlement type of mentality. Oh my God, and belittling type of attitude. So you have a job, you've been to school and you make a little decent amount of money and you got your own car and you got your own place. So you're better than the next person. And I personally don't think that that's the type of, that doesn't say, oh, you're doing well for yourself. It says you have a nasty attitude and a horrible disposition. And who wants to deal with that? Nobody. I mean, nobody wants to deal with somebody who has that type of attitude that comes with them. And I just don't believe that you could be a success, that you just because you're a successful woman that you have to be nasty and that you have to be condescending and that you have to stick your nose in the air of people. No, I just don't believe that you have to be that way. And that just shows you the mentality of those types of women is part of the reason why they by themselves. And don't get it twisted. A lot of these women don't want to be by themselves. They would love to be married and have a family, but they're picky in their approach, and not just picky because you want the best, meaning you want a good man. Because I don't see anything wrong with going for a good man, a man who treats you right, a respectful man, a loving man, a kind man, a man who really cares about you and is about you. I'm not saying like that. No, that's not what they're basing it upon. They want super simps with a lot of money to come in and just spend money on them, spend money on me, and that's going to be sufficient enough. When you know good and well, that's probably a man that you really don't want to be with. You just with him because he can give you the lifestyle and you end up cheating on him. This is what women don't really want to talk about, how women cheat on good men. You have a good man and he ain't never going to be good enough. See, if we're going to address the side of the men, we got to address the side of the women. I would love to have a conversation where we explore what's going on with the women and the men and why the men are moving the way they're moving. Not saying nobody is perfect, because nobody is better. Just because you make a little money and you got a job don't mean you're better than the average man. And the average man is no better than the woman. It's all about your mentality, how you think, how you was raised, how you move, how you feel. Because a lot of things that women choose to do and the choices that they choose to make is based off of their feelings. And this is why they make a lot of poor choices. And you go pick some dudes that wasn't really about you and you were just sleeping with them thinking that you could change them, and that don't work out. Now every black man is no good and he's the problem. So if you're portraying every black man in that way, how do you think black men are going to feel, the ones who are out here working and struggling and trying to better their lives and better themselves? You think all black men just want to sit back and just be bottom of the barrel? No, these men are leveling up. They are doing things to better themselves, but they're not good enough for the women, because the women think that they're better. They're these elite, boss chicks that can't deal with a man who has a regular 9-to-5. So you weed out all the average men who have jobs and taking care of themselves. They just don't have as much as you say you have. So they're just peasants to you. And you expect those men and the men above them to look at you as something special? No, because those men who have money, they realize the type of time that you on and how you think. So you think that men with money are going to look at you and idolize you and praise you when you treat other men in that way? Or you think so little of men who are working hard, but because they don't make 6 figures, they're nothing? You don't think other men look at you and realize what you're about and they just move to the side too and go look for somebody else? So we could talk about toxic men and the issues that they have, but we got to talk about the toxic women, because both these women and men were raised by the same mothers. So we got to address both sides and stop making it seem like men are just horrible and so bad and these women are somehow better when they're not. Let's continue.
With that stubborn, prideful mentality, thinking that you are better than every woman out here and that you are the prize. Sir, you gonna be alone and single too in your elderly years. So stop going after women talking about all y'all single women. Some of you men are single because you can't get the woman you want neither.
Well, okay, so they're equal. So if you ask me if women and men are on the same in the same boat, I think men have a better opportunity to find somebody than women, because men aren't as picky. Men will take a woman that may not be a 10 in looks, but she's a good woman, a decent woman, at least, and she's trying. But women are stuck on this, I will not settle. I will not settle, to the point to where they don't have anybody to settle with. So even if you think that men and women are on the same playing field, I still think men have better opportunities, because they can find somebody who is willing to work with them and be with them. She don't have to be all the things that women think makes a woman high value, versus women who are out here looking for Mr. Right, who's perfect, has everything in order, will do whatever she wants, who's obsessed with her. They say, I want a man who's obsessed with me. He got to be obsessed with her. He got to do whatever she wants. He got to give her a lifestyle. He got to pay all her bills. He got to make sure he gives her the world and more, treat her like a princess, pay for her friends' trips, and do all of this extra. And he got to be expected to hold the house down, not complain, let her have her way, let her be combative as she want to be, while he continue to just pay for everything and just shut the hell up, let her do what she want. Don't have a worry in the world. Don't have a request. You can't tell her how to dress. You can't tell her what to do. You can't tell her you don't like her hair and them nails and all the BBLs. You just got to accept her because she's a woman and she has a vagina and she's cute and you want her. And everything else about her, you just have to accept. In a perfect world, that's what a lot of these women want. They want a lifestyle. They want a rich man who's going to marry them, give them the world, and let them do whatever they want. You telling me that men will have a harder time getting a woman than women will have a hard time getting that type of man? Child, I don't think it's as even as a lot of people think. A lot of changes need to be made, and it's not just the men. That's what I'm gonna say on that. But listen, y'all, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts on this particular video. Share, like, you guys, comment. I want to hear your thoughts on this one, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.